9440. 4405. 9440 405
All right, welcome back, crime fighters, for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up some bad guys. Or I say us, I mean him. I'm Chris Wright. I don't have the power to arrest you. This is our sheriff, Matthew Wade. Good to see you, Sheriff.
It's always good to be on the show, Chris. And I beg to differ. It takes us all to make the county safe, so I appreciate that.
Well, let's go ahead and say thank you to our viewing public for the help that they've given us over the last week.
You've never let us down. 2 arrests this week brings our total up since we started the show to 4,590 people put in jail, all because somebody worked together and to help keep our community safe. Thank you very much.
Of course, today's been a busy day, and we pre-taped this program during the day on Tuesday, and so a lot of people, everybody's seeing it after the fact. But today was election day for the runoff election that should have happened months ago.
Absolutely. July the 14th is election day. It's a runoff. A lot of people don't understand that primary elections is where the government allows the Republican Party and the Democrat Party to hold elections. And during that, they get to choose who their candidate is going to be for the general election. So back in March, we had a primary election. Had many candidates on it. There was a runoff between a Republican senator spot, our nominee or candidate position for November, and today that's what we're doing. That's between Jeff Sessions and Tommy Tupperville. Whoever wins that race will go up against Doug Jones in the November election. So that's what today is.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, more interest than normal for a primary runoff. Normally the turnout is very low, but it looks like we've had more people involved this time around.
Hopefully so. You know, it's been a long time. Normally runoffs are held within so many weeks after the election, but due to the coronavirus, this has been put off for several months. This should have happened in April, and here we are in July doing it. But our electoral process is very important to our country, and we encourage everybody to vote, no matter your flavor of what you believe or who you support. In America, you get to choose that. So we encourage you to go out and exercise your constitutional rights.
And hopefully we learn some lessons today that will serve us well in November when a lot more people will be voting.
Absolutely.
All right, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
In the United States, a home is burglarized about every 23 seconds. There are ways that you can make your home safer and not be a victim. You can invest in an alarm system, add security cameras, or get a smart doorbell. Either one or all are helpful. Be sure to keep your systems working. Even a fake security sign might deter a would-be burglar. Keep your doors and windows locked. Install a deadbolt. And always keep your garage door closed and that kitchen door locked. We aren't living in great-grandma's time anymore, and those days are long gone. Verify who is at your door when your doorbell rings. If you don't want to answer the door, that's okay. Let the person know you are there, turn the TV on, talk to your dog, or even tell them you can't answer the door right then. Don't let a possible burglary turn into a home invasion. You need to light up the dark. Install motion sensor lights. Contact the power company for a dusk to dawn light for your yard. And remember, it doesn't matter where you live or where you park your car, always lock your vehicle. Criminals are looking for unlocked cars. Don't leave items in your car that may entice a thief to break a window and steal. Don't leave your garage door opener in your car either. If possible, keep an additional car parked in your driveway when you are away. Make it appear that someone is at home. You can join or organize a neighborhood watch program. And remember, if you are a victim of a burglary or a theft of property, call your local law enforcement office right away to file a report. For more information, you can call me, Nancy Hilton, at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, 256-236-6600.
All right, let's take a look at this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Hallie Johnson of Ohatchee is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana second degree. Joseph Burton of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for distribution of a controlled substance. Richard Wallace of Austell, Georgia is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Tiffany Spanks of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of property, second degree. Eric Enriquez of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for domestic violence, third-degree assault. And Justin Smith of Anniston wanted for failure to pay for theft of property, third degree. That's just the first half of this week's lineup. If you have any information, please call 256-236-6600. We'll have the second half of the lineup coming up in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We will have the second half of the lineup coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, Sheriff, we want to meet a man who's been very active in a lot of things happening in our community for quite a while now.
Absolutely. Glenn Ray is a wonderful man and a friend to me. We've known each other for a while and become sheriff, and he's probably one of the first people that I kind of got to know after becoming sheriff, and we probably talk a couple of times a week, and he does a good job helping his membership.
So Glenn, you're the president of the local chapter for Calhoun County of the NAACP.
Yes, I am, and I've been in it for at least 2 or 3 years now, the president. And if people don't know what the president of the NAACP, what all we do is, well, basically when someone get in trouble, or the kids or the family members, and they're not for sure what to do, they call us. Mm-hmm. Plenty of time I have been to the sheriff, reached out to him, because people are called and said they have someone in the jail and they feel like they're being mistreated and this and that, and so I would call the sheriff and he would let me come down. We'll watch the video now. 99% of the time, 99.99% of the time, is a whole different story once you watch the video. But I'd like to just thank the sheriff for just being so helpful and trying to. I have a lot of respect for him. He tried to do what's right towards the people, and so that makes my job a lot easier. Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that we've done is Glenn has a problem. My door has always been open, and he says 99.99% of the time I'm grateful for that. But there are times when something bad does happen, and when that happens, we address it together, and we've been able to forge a good relationship with that. Since being sheriff, I hate to say it. On one end, I hate to say it. On the other end, I'm a little proud of it that since I've been in sheriff, I've arrested 6 people that's worked for me, and I'm not proud of it, but I am proud that we don't cover it up, we don't hide it from the media, we tell people what happened, and it happens in a lot of places. I think that's kind of what's going on in America, but people want you to be accountable, and we're trying to do that. And Mr. Ray, there's been times something bad happened, I said, yeah, that's what happened, come watch the video, and there's times that it didn't happen, that he still is allowed to watch the video and be honest with you. Having that relationship has meant a lot, just in forging through some of that.
So Glenn, you're the president of a local chapter of a national organization.
Yes.
And so you're part of that national organization, but what you speak for is mainly the local issues. And let's get down to what is the situation locally for your organization right now.
Right now, about this coronavirus is out, and people are concerned about their loved ones. A lot of people think that when people are being locked up, everybody's guilty, and nobody care anything about them, but it don't make any difference. People gonna love their loved ones. And I have went down and I have visited the jail, walked through the jail, to see how they clean the jail, how clean it is, and different. I have talked to some of the individuals down there, and that helps out a lot, because people need to understand that, and I learned this myself, that the county jail is a holding jail. They don't arrest everybody down there. A lot of people just bring people to them, so that's a holding for others, and that's the reason the numbers be so high. And so we go and talk to the judge sometimes and say, hey, some of these people get burned out. Why we have so many people locked up, and they ain't murdered anyone, and in this country you're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty. They sit there for months and Sundays, and waiting on a trial date. And I just think that we need to do a little better towards people that incarcerated, because you have to always remember people do love them too.
And you raise a good point there, that a lot of times people think they're in jail because they did something. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Not everybody in the Calhoun County Jail has been convicted.
Most people in our jail haven't been. We hold basically two types of people. We hold people that are pending trial, and we hold people that are, say, in jail waiting to see a judge where they violated their probation or parole. But for the most part, the county jail holds people who have been merely charged with a crime. Mm-hmm. So they haven't lost any of their rights at that point. So they're waiting to go to trial because they can't bond out for whatever reason. Some of it, there's many different reasons. It's complicated, but
and even if they are in after they've been convicted, they haven't lost all of their rights.
In the day's world, it's hard to in 6 minutes to tell you. That could be multiple shows, but when somebody's convicted, when they lose rights, it still doesn't mean they lost their constitutional rights to being a human being and how they're treated. And I get it from both ends. There'll be people who say, you're running a Marriott down there. And if you visit the jail, it's not a Marriott, it's not a Marriott. At the other hand,
I want my money back if I paid for that Marriott.
Well, and then on the other side, you got people saying that it's not good enough. So, what we try to do is the right thing, and that's a generic term. I want to do the right thing. And what you think is right, somebody else might think is wrong, but we do our best. And we have made some improvements in the county jail over the past several years. Mr. Ray come down, I believe, when I first become sheriff, and I showed him and some other people the conditions that our females in the jail were living in, and it was bad. And we were able to secure the Anniston jail, and we now made that a female facility, and it's much better.
Mm-hmm.
Their living conditions are much better, but people help us with those kind of things, and we have made some improvements. We're doing our best to lower the population, where it's, at one point, we were almost 700 people in a 400-bed jail. Mm-hmm. I can't control that. Yeah. But at the same time, we're back down to below 500, and now we have 510 beds because we added 110 when we got the Anniston facility.
Mm-hmm. We need to take a quick break, but we want to talk some more with you here in just a second, Mr. Ray, if you can hang around.
Okay.
We will be back in just a moment. We'll have the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, here we go with the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Rosalind Montgomery of Anniston is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of services, first degree. Michael Franklin of Covington, Georgia, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for passing bad checks. Shakori Cross of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of marijuana, first degree. Carlos Carrion of Anniston wanted for use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Lawrence Cooper of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of property, third degree. Kenny Moore of Anniston wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. If you have any information about anyone in this lineup, please call the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600. All right, we'll talk about some property crimes coming up in just a few minutes and see if you can help us with those. Right now, we're talking with Glenn Ray, who is the president of the Calhoun County chapter of the NAACP. Mr. Ray, we've been talking about some things that we have some agreements on, but there are some things that you'd like to see changed here locally, aren't there?
Yes, it is. And one dilemma that I have is that once a person get a court-appointed attorney and they get locked up, and the court-appointed attorney just don't show up. I get calls. My attorney hadn't been down here in 5 or 6 months, and this bothers me because even when they try to call them, they can't reach them. I think that they should have a schedule on when they should go and see their clients, and they should write it down and then send it to the district judge and then to the primary judge, Judge Howell. I think that somebody need to have a tracking system on how often do they go down and see people's in jail, the court-appointed attorneys, instead of just letting them go there and don't show up for months and Sunday. That's just wrong. And Judge Marlin ran on that. He ran on that he was going to make sure that happened. And right now, I'm a little disappointed in that, because I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. What are some other priorities for the NAACP here locally in Calhoun County?
Well, our job is to try to be fair towards anyone. And now I'm telling you, I'm getting a hit right now because of a individual that the sheriff hired. And he was terminated from the Anderson Police Department. Now, when he was terminated, he was in an organization that proclaimed to be a white supremacist organization, and but the thing of it is that he was terminated. And all of that went on. They did what they had to do. Then the sheriff hired him, and he'd been there for a year. And I started getting calls and things, and so I asked, he'd been there for a year. But I had never had one complaint in the Anderson about this officer. And so why should I beat up a man if he hadn't did anything to show me that he's a racist? Now, I think about a Pacific in the Bible that the Lord asked two people to go work in the vineyard. One said, I go, but he didn't go. And the other said, I don't want to go, but he went. Which one show favor? Which one show favor when a man say, I might be a racist, but he don't do racist things? And then somebody say, I'm not a racist, but everything they do is racist. Which one show favor in the eyes of the Lord? And so this is what people need to realize, that I got to be fair towards individual. It don't make any difference whether it's black, white, or sky blue, green. I'm not going to do wrong, and I'm not going to do something because somebody else did it. Until a person show me that they deserve to be treated different than anyone else, then I'm going to have to see that. And I just want people to understand that if you're going to be a Christian and you're going to do, everybody deserves a second chance. And I believe in that. And so I'm not going to beat up on a person just to be beating up on him, unless you show me that you are doing things that just not right, But it's too many people that doing things that I get complaints on. They not proclaim racist, but they doing racist things. These are the things that people need to understand, that don't just jump on the bandwagon. My dad always told me, don't throw a rock at every dog that barks.
That's some good advice. Good advice.
Well, Mr. Ray and I have had many conversations, and some of them we agree and some of them we don't. But one thing that we always work out is respect, and my door is always open to him. And he has been a wonderful friend to me in the sense that he has helped me with some issues and to see things from a different perspective. And I appreciate him for that.
I wish we had more time for this conversation to continue. We're about out of time right now, but you're available, I know, for whoever needs to enlist the services of your organization.
If you need the NAACP, my number is 256-294-5725. I'm there 24/7. And if you need help, hey, call me. It don't make any difference with what color you are. We're here for everyone in the city.
And I will say this, he does a wonderful job advocating for people, and he has told me that same thing before, and people are lucky to have him to be able to call, because he calls me a lot, and we fixed a lot of problems. So I appreciate that.
We will be back. When we come back in just a few moments, we will have some property crimes that hopefully you can help us figure out. All right, let's take a look at some recent property crimes here in Calhoun County, see if you can help us solve one or more of these. On July 7th, a truck was broken into at a residence on Capco Drive in Anniston. A Taurus 9mm handgun and some currency were stolen. The truck was unlocked. On July 10th, a Taurus .38 caliber was stolen from a vehicle parked at a residence located on Deer Path in Anniston. Between June 19th and July 3rd, a 28-foot red Louisville extension ladder was stolen from a location on Spring Branch Drive in Alexandria. On July 10th, an unknown person attempted to illegally enter a home located on Alabama Highway 204. Damage occurred to the door and a window. If you have any information about these crimes or other crimes committed in Calhoun County, please call the Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So, Sheriff, it's a constant thing that we have people taking what's not theirs.
That happens. That happens.
With today's technology, sometimes they don't realize how easy it is to know where they've taken certain items. Especially in the case of 3 individuals that stole some security cameras.
In today's world of technology, sometimes things have GPS trackers on them. Sometimes they'll run on batteries.
Yep.
So,
And sometimes they'll automatically connect to wireless networks. So in case of these particular security cameras, they come on, connect to the internet, and start showing video of the people who have stolen them, and the GPS says exactly where they are.
in law enforcement, we call that a blessing.
Yeah.
So we really enjoy and appreciate technology when it works in that fashion.
Right. That's all the time that we have for this week. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.